So today's workshop is just going to be preparing you a little bit on how to help your students use Western Online, especially if you have students that are first-time users. FYE a lot of times might be their first time seeing the Western Online interface. So I'm just going to share with you some ideas on how you can make this a little bit easier for them. I'm going to go ahead and go into full screen for a minute as we go over some points in the slide deck. And then we will actually go into Western Online, and you can just follow along with me on the screen, or if you actually want to log into the D2L Daylight test server, which I sent in the email, you can feel free to do that as well. We're not going to be doing a whole lot of hands-on. I'm just going to be showing you some different tools in there that you might be able to use to help your students better use and learn Western Online. So the first thing that I will share with you is the fact that there is a Western Online student orientation that students typically do go through as part of the FYE program. It's a 45-minute to an hour, depending on how long it takes them to get through their self-paced orientation, and it's designed to familiarize them with the computer recommendations that they need for using Western Online, qualities of a successful online student, so it gives them some idea of what they're going to need to do to be a good online student. It walks them through how to navigate the Western Online interface. They will practice using the discussion board, so they'll actually submit a discussion post, they'll submit an assignment, and they'll take a quiz. So they'll be able to actually get some hands-on use with the Western Online tools as they're going through the orientation. Once they complete the orientation, there is a quiz that they can take. If they get a score of 80% or above, they will be presented with a certificate of completion that they can print. Some instructors have decided to give extra credit for this in the past. So if it is something that you would want them to do as part of a class, you may be able to offer some extra credit. This is an online orientation that students self-register for. Therefore, there is a link that they have to go to, and that link contains step-by-step instructions that they can follow to self-register for the online orientation. You may also go in there and register for the online orientation if you'd like to go through it and see what the students are able to do. We always welcome feedback if there are things that faculty and staff believe that students need to know more about. We're always updating this and adding more information to it. As an instructor, you can direct students to the student resource area on the institutional page of Western Online, and I'll jump over there in a moment and talk to you about that. You can also take the link that I have right here, and I'll send you a link to this PowerPoint when we're done. It's also in the handout that I sent you today. I actually attached the instructions for the online orientation registration to that email. But you could take this link and you could paste that right into your Western Online content area or onto a widget on the front page of your course to help direct your students to this online orientation. So before we go forward with the slide deck, I'm going to just jump over here into the orientation. So what you're seeing on my screen now is the Western Online student orientation. They just basically have the objectives up front. There are some supplemental resources over here that they can go out to. So some video tutorials of how to use different tools. These are actually provided by Brightspace. There's a link right here to UTech where they can get help if they have any trouble. And then there's some more resources out on the D2L webpage. Down here in the content browser, we actually have the different portions of the module. So they just click into a module and just click through, and there are different places to read. There are visuals that kind of tell them how to navigate through Western Online. There are some videos that they watch, explanations of the different pieces of Western Online. When they actually get into some of the other modules, they'll actually have little things that they're going to need to do. So they'll actually be going in and participating in a discussion board. So they'll be able to go through, and it would tell them, you know, how to participate, and then it will ask them on the next page to actually go in there and put in a discussion topic. So they will get some interaction and they will get the ability to go in and actually do a discussion and do an assignment, hand something in as they're going through this tutorial. So that is a brief overview of the Western Online Student Orientation. Is that something that you were already aware of, that it existed? Is it something that you've had students use before? Sort of, okay. Do you have any questions about it? Okay, no questions. All right, so going back to the slide deck, we'll go ahead and continue on. So one thing that can help students to move through your course is to go ahead and provide a good level of consistency and redundancy throughout. So a lot of these are probably fairly similar things to what you've already done in face-to-face classes. But when you are designing your course, you want to include all schedule information in the syllabus as well as on the course calendar. Make sure that all course modules are set to correspond with both the schedule and the dates. So making sure that everything is consistent, you have the same dates, you have the same naming on all of the different areas of the course. Again, naming conventions for the assignments, discussion, and activities throughout the course should match what you put in the syllabus and what you put on the announcements. So one recommendation would be either have your syllabus all ready to go with all the names before you start building in the pieces of your course, or go ahead and build the pieces of your course and then do your syllabus. I know that you guys are handed a template for FYE, so you just may want to tweak your syllabus just to make sure that everything is called the same thing, so there's no confusion for the students. The other thing would be using the quick links throughout the course. So in content areas, announcements, to provide that redundant channel for accessing course content. So I'll go ahead in a moment and I'll demonstrate what I mean by a quick link, but being able to go ahead and put in an announcement and give them a link that directs them right into an assignment or right into a discussion. So I will demonstrate one of those here in a few minutes. When referring to D2L tools and areas, always make sure to use their appropriate names. So if referring to anything up in the nav bar, you know, look and just make sure that what you're calling it is what D2L calls it. Make sure that all instructions, point values, due dates, and requirements match throughout the course and the syllabus. So make sure that what it's called in the assignment area is also what it's called in the grade book and announcements and the calendar and your syllabus, just to have those the same. And then finally, make sure to review all course expectations and go over the syllabus with students so that you know that they understand the requirements and the course information. So real quickly, when we talk about those quick links, I'll just jump back here to my blank course, and I'll go down to announcements, and I'll click to create an announcement and say assignment due Friday. So I could go ahead and say, click the link below to access it. And then I go here and just click on this icon, which is the quick link icon. And then I can go in and choose assignments, and I can click on that, and it will go ahead and automatically place the link to that assignment right in my announcement. And I won't have to worry about the naming because I'm just pulling it right from the assignments area. So it's going to be named exactly what I had named it there. So once I go ahead and publish this, then I go back out to my announcements area, and right here, my assignments due Friday, I click on assignment 1, and that's going to take the student right into that assignment area. Now I haven't put instructions or anything in here, but had I, the instruction would show up as well as where they turn the file into me. So you can use that quick link feature in any of the areas of Western Online. So if I wanted to put an announcement up about a discussion board, I could link right to a discussion board. I could link to a reading, a quiz, anything that I might want to do a quick link to. So just remember that you can add those quick links to help navigate them through your course. I'll go ahead and show you an example here. This particular course actually has used quick links in the syllabus. So with this, we'll go ahead and bring up the syllabus. They've actually done their syllabus in the HTML window. But down here in the course schedule, they've used quick links to go out to readings and checklists within their course. So if they click on one of these, it'll take them right to the reading for that particular chapter. It'll just take them right there. So that's another use of quick links, is to be able to make some links directly from a syllabus if you decided to do that within the HTML window. So moving right along, we're going to go in and start talking about some of the tools. And specifically, I'm just going to be highlighting tools that will help your students successfully complete your course. So number one, I have the announcements tool. That is the place right on the front page where you can continually change out the announcements and get information to them. So course updates, you can provide new information. You can do this to keep students on task, so you can remind them of due dates that are coming up. You can remind them of events. I know in the FYE courses, they have all of the campus community events. You could use the announcements to remind them of those. You can also use it to answer common questions. So if you wanted to put a question out there that several people have asked, you could answer that on announcements. You could also set up an FAQ question discussion board for answering questions throughout the year as well. One thing that I do recommend on announcements is that you do go ahead and expire them after they've been up there for a couple of days, because if you never expire your announcements, they will take over the entire homepage of your course. And by expire them, you can go up and click on the X in the upper right-hand corner, or you just go into the announcements tool and you go ahead and put an end date in there and tell it to end it. It will still be back there where you could turn it on again, but it won't be showing on your front page. So let me just show you that real quick right now. If I am in my course and I go to where it says announcements and I choose go to announcements tool, I can actually click here and do an edit, or I can dismiss from widget. If I dismiss from widget, that's going to go ahead and turn it off, so it's no longer showing on the front page, but it would still be back here for me to edit it. So I'll go ahead and do dismiss from widget. And now when I go to my course home, I no longer see that announcement. But if I come back in here to my announcement tool, I notice that it's actually still there, and I could go back in here and choose restore, and that would put it right back out on the home page for me. So you can go in and dismiss those widgets. It doesn't mean they're gone. You could turn them on again. Sorry, announcements. You could turn them on again, but it cleans up your front page if you do not keep them all on there for the entire time. The next tool is the activity feed widget. This is one that is not turned on automatically. It's a widget that you do have to turn on. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you today. If you have interest in it, just let me know and I can show you how to turn it on in your course. It is a newer tool. It's not something that anyone that I'm aware of at Western is using at this point. It is more like a social media feed, so more like a Facebook type wall than your regular announcements tool. So this allows you to create a feed or a social stream for the course. Much like announcements, you can use it to remind students of upcoming activities, upcoming assignments. The thing that's kind of different about it is you can actually create the assignment from right within the activity tool. So that is something that's new. You can facilitate the learner engagement because they can interact sorry, by clicking on hyperlinks, but they can also comment on posts made by the instructor. So like the announcements is a one-way mode of communication. The activity feed really takes it two ways, so students can actually comment on what has been posted. All of the users in the class will see the post on the activity feed, and it is stored there. So it's not a private channel by any means. It is open to the entire class. So in my example course here, I actually have the activity feed set, I'm in the wrong course. I actually have the activity feed set up here on the right-hand side. So in the activity feed, I can see what I have posted, and then I can also see how many submissions there are. So I can get a little bit more information up here about what's going on with that particular assignment. So to create a post, you just click on the plus button, and you can create a message, which you're going to give them information, or you can create an assignment. If you click to create an assignment, you can click here and do a brand new assignment, and this will create exactly a brand new assignment in your assignment area, or you can click where it says select existing, and then you choose that and you say post, and that goes ahead and puts your assignment right out there. If you were doing a message, remember to go to the campus community event tonight. You do have some formatting options over here. You can add an emoji, you have bulleted list, you have bold, italics, and underlines. So you've got some formatting. Right here underneath your message is where you choose if you're going to allow comments on this message or not. So if you are, you want to go ahead and make sure that that is checked. You can add an attachment to this, so you can upload a file. You can attach an existing activity. So if you wanted to attach, say, something from the discussion board, you could actually make a link out to a discussion board from within here. If you wanted to get the campus community forum assignments they have to do, you could connect to that assignment. And you can put multiple links within one announcement. So if I want to go out and grab something off of Google Drive, as long as I have this set up, I can go do that. So if I wanted to add that file, I could pull it up as well. And then down here, when you're ready to post, you notice that you have post later or post. If you choose post later, you can go ahead and set up your activity feed announcements at the beginning of the course, but you can just have them release on specific dates, much like you can do with the announcements. Or you can go in and just click post and have it posted right now. And this particular one, you notice I currently have 0 comments. I don't have any students in there that have commented, but that is the activity feed. So the main difference is that students can comment on it. You can create activities directly from it. But the difference is, unlike the announcements tool, you don't have the ability to turn them off and turn them back on, that I have found. So you don't have the ability to go in and turn this off and then go back in and turn it back on. You delete it, it's gone. Okay, so the main difference is that two-way communication, and the fact that when you delete it, it's gone. It's not like you can just turn it off and turn it back on. The next tool that we are going to talk about is the calendar tool, and I'll go ahead and just ask you, are you already using the calendar tool, Lisa? Okay, you're going to request adding that, so we'll work on that. You're already using the calendar. All right, the next tool is the checklist tool, and the checklist tool basically, I'll go ahead and blow this back up. The checklist tool basically allows the instructor to go in and create a checklist for the students to follow for different units. So with the checklist, you're able to help students focus on what's important within a particular unit or within a particular period of time, like a week or however long you spend working on a unit or a chapter. It lets you give them a list that guides them through completion by reminding them of what the important tasks are and assisting them with prioritization. It also assists them with time management because they can kind of see that laid out for the week. And it allows them to break down those complex units into smaller working segments. This is a checklist for them so that they can follow it and they can actually check things off as they go through. It's not showing you their actual progress. There's another place in Western Online where you can go in and check their progress under grades, but this is definitely a tool for them. So I'm just going to go in and show you in this course an example of the checklist tool that's set up. So this instructor is teaching a fully online course and she has set up a checklist for every week. So I'll go ahead and go into week 2, and this shows you basically what a checklist looks like. So this is one that's been started. So the readings for this particular week were done on Wednesday, June 13th. The student checked it off at that time. The online discussion has been checked off. Week 2 reading, if they were to finish that today, when they're done, they would go in and check that off and then click save, and it would go ahead and mark when they had gotten that done. Again, this information is for the student, not necessarily for the instructor, but you can set those checklists up, and students again have the direct links right to those activities. So they can go straight from the checklist straight into whatever activity they need to complete or finish up. So that is the idea of using the checklist. Checklist tool is located up under the resources menu. So if you click on resources and then go down and choose checklist, that's where you can go and you can set up your checklist for your course if that is something that interests you. We do have some people that actually have gone to using checklists to kind of lay their course out and organize it rather than the content area so much. So that's another way that it's kind of being used. And then the next one is notifications. And so notifications, you'll see notifications come up here in the top of your browser and your navigation bar, but notifications can actually be set to come up and send out messages to cell phones and email so that students can get instant notifications about what's happening in the courses that they're taking. But it requires them to set that up. So in the email that I sent you today, there is a handout in there on helping students understand how to set up their notifications. Have you ever set up notifications for your own cell phone? Okay. So I'll just quickly walk you through this. In order to set up notifications or to help your students do that, they're going to go in and click on their profile name. And then they're going to go down and click where it says notifications. And then under notifications, there are contact methods. So you can be emailed the notifications, and or you can have the notifications sent to you via text message to your telephone, cell phone, not telephone, cell phone. When you click on the enable email notifications, you can have it sent directly to your WIU email address, or you could use a custom email if you had a family Gmail or something that you wanted to use. I'll just go ahead and leave that set to my WIU email. And when you want to set up your mobile phone, you click register your mobile. You have to go in and put your country. You have to go in and put your provider, and then you do have to put in your telephone number, which I'm not going to do right now. But once you put in your telephone number, it's going to go ahead and text you a confirmation code, and there will be a box that you'll put that confirmation code in, and then it will be set to go to your cell phone. Right here, when you're working with your email, you can have it do a daily summary instead of sending you an email every time there's an update. So you could click that, and you can choose what time you want that summary delivered. And then down here is where you choose what tools you want notifications from and where you want them to go. So you could have these come to both text and email if you wanted to, or specific ones you could have just go to your text, and some you could have just go to your email or not receive them at all. So it's really up to what the user wants to get updates on. If they want to get updates on new assignments or due dates, they could go and choose those things. It does not mean that they have to receive an update on everything, and they can then direct whether it goes to a cell phone or whether it goes to an email address. Down here, this is really important where it says customize notifications. If they check all of these, it's going to send them notifications for everything that they've ever been enrolled in every time there's an update. So they have to be careful not to do that. You just want to choose what you want to get right now. And then finally at the bottom where it says exclude some courses, they can go in and they don't have to receive notifications from every course that they're logged into or enrolled in. They can go down and click manage course exclusions, and they can go in and search for and choose courses that they don't want included. So they can X out of those that they don't want to get notifications from. And once they've made all of those settings, they just go down and click save, and that sets it up, and they will begin to receive text and email notifications for their different courses, which can help them tremendously to stay on task and kind of stay engaged with the course. Okay, the last thing, yeah, there's one more thing which I think you'll already know. The last thing is how your students can get assistance, and that would be via contacting the University Technology Support Center in 126 Stipes, the number there being 298-2704, or emailing support@wiu.edu would be the main line of contact for technical support with Western Online.